It is on.
Alright, so it's recording?
Yeah, it's recording, man.
Alright, cool. So, when did you start playing Smash Bros. And did you ever play Melee at one point?
Yeah, the first game I played ever was Melee. It was back in 2007.
Really?
Well, I had a GameCube in high school, but I had Smash Bros, but I didn't really play it a lot. I played like other games like Final Fantasy.
Okay.
And when I got to college, I lived in a dorm where we had pod areas, and it just so happened that all the ranked players came to this dorm in the state of Florida
Really?
to play. So like the number 5 lived in the dorm, like I don't know, 40 feet away from me. And he was 5 in Florida at the time. You know Hungry Box?
Yeah, I know
He'd come and he'd play all
Really?
the time. So that's how I first met him back in 07. The number 1 and 2 ranked players in Smash Bros. Brawl for the first ranking in the state of Florida lived in my dorm. So that was kind of cool, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I really got into it, because these guys were so good. Like, you'd watch them and they look like gods. You know, I was like, how are you guys doing this? And I couldn't beat them. So I would just go out there and play, and I'd ask questions, and I'd learn. It was really cool.
Alright.
Because Brawl came out my first year in college, and that's like when I started playing. I was like, you know what? This is a brand new game. Melee was so technical. They're so technical. You're pressing like 1,000 buttons a second. What it feels like. And so Brawl lost all that technical stuff. And then when it came out, I was like, I can really play this game.
How did you feel about, like, it losing all the technical stuff? You liked it, or?
Yeah, it gave me a chance.
It gave you a chance.
Right, because like there's so much tech. Like that was back in 2007, right?
Yeah.
When it first came out, Melee had been out since 2001. So these people had like years of playing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like I had to learn what a wave dash was. I'm like, I didn't learn how to wave dash until I just kept practicing until like 2010. And by then it was just not too much for me. Like it still is to this day, like something that I'm not fond of. I do it though. Like I practice. I got some friends that I made afterwards, and some really technical Melee friends.
Okay.
And they taught me. I think though, like losing tech is good for the game for new people because it gives them the chance to succeed.
But doesn't that also make it easier for better players to exploit that in a sense?
You would think, right? But there are higher levels. The higher level you get in this game, the more the rules change. So like you have to know a certain amount of tech to be good, but when it comes to a point where it doesn't matter how much tech you know, it's not going to help you. Because it's all about, at least in this game, not in Melee. Because like Melee, you have things like perfect pivoting. You can do platform cancels. Like Marth can like do these crazy platform cancels now that we thought back in, like when they first were discovered, it was impractical. But now you got people like Zane who do it on the fly with no problem, and it's part of his strategy. But like in this game, not really. You would think that knowing all this really weird tech stuff would be like, oh, it's esoteric. Then now all of these pros can use them. So like noobs won't be able to do this stuff. Like the only real things you need to know in this game are like pivots. Like that's probably one of the hardest tech things are grab combos. But that's just practice. That's just a few inputs. It's not like you have super strict timing. Let's talk about like other games, right? Like Dragon Ball Z Fighters, where there are these combos that you have to be frame perfect at 60 frames a second, right? So that means you have 1/60th of a second to input the right command. What happens if you miss? Well, that game, it's so technical that it actually prevents new players from entering the scene and doing well for a while. You have to play some of these games for a long time and spend thousands of hours really. Where Smash doesn't really have that component to it, but it has other elements such as like Smash that we're playing right now. You can short hop, right? You got double jumps in the air. You can dodge while you're in the air. You can spot dodge. There's a Z-axis that things can you won't get hit if you go into the Z-axis. There are grab combos that follow up, like other FGC games like Tekken or Street Fighter or Injustice or Dragon Ball Z Fighters. Like it's not really like that. You have you can jump in some of these games, but it's not like a Smash where you can fast fall or you can full hop versus short hop, and every character has different weights, so they fall at different fall speeds, different weights, different combo abilities. And so that's where the technical stuff comes in Smash, but you don't have to know that. I consider myself a fundamentalist in this game. I'm not a technical player. I learned the game from a fundamental point of view, and I mimicked my game actor, a dude named Ally. His name is Elliot. He's Canadian, right? So he goes by Ellie or Ally. And when he came to my house for the first time, this is someone that was like ranked top 5 in the world, And I was talking to him. I was like, this guy has to know like all this frame data. I'd only been playing for like 3 years, And he came for a big national tournament, and I told him I'd house him. And he told me, he was like, no, I just play and I just learn from playing. I don't care about frames. I could care less. Because I know that this move could work in this situation or couldn't work. And it all depends on like how my opponent reacts in that situation, So like frame data might say you always win, but maybe you mess up by 1 frame when you input it. Or your opponent, it shouldn't get hit by it, right? The frame data says it shouldn't work, but your opponent messes up because they don't react right under pressure or something like that. So he taught me that, and I was like, you're right. I should not worry about frame data at all. But, eventually I got really, really, really good in this game where I was like top, like 30, 40 in the world. There did come a point where certain moves I would have to look at the frame data for because I just couldn't beat the situation. Like I'd be put in the same situation over and over again, and I'd try a billion different things and I just couldn't figure it out until somebody sat down with me and said, listen, this is how it looks frame by frame. And like some things like Meta Knight and Brawl were just overpowered. You can't beat what he does. Right, so you're like, oh, I just gotta reset to neutral, so roll out. Doing anything just hurts you, and you're like, oh no, that sucks. Like, the best that you can do is not get hit and roll away. Oh, that blows.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is your thoughts on how tournaments are like ran and stuff like that?
Well, what do you mean?
Like, I mean, like in terms of rules and stuff like that.
Well, I was a part of the official rule set committee for Brawl. I was, back in 2010, I was invited to the back room, which you had to be elite. Not only did you have to be elite, you had to have a certain language that you talk. You were eloquent. You had a high vocab. Rather, you weren't just like common speak in a way. Like I could write an essay, I could present an argument, I could talk, I could discuss. I kept it cool,
Wow,
and I was also
could be used in
Absolutely. I learned how to argue on forums for Super Smash Bros. All right, how to present an argument with observable facts.
Yeah.
So I was a part of the first rule set, really for one of the first rule set committees in Brawl. I was invited to it. So we created the official rule set. So like there are a lot of things on the rule set that are debatable. So like when it comes to rule sets, right? Think about this. What do you value more? Do you value playing the game as it was intended, or do you value changing the rules to how you think it should be played?
Yeah.
Right. So that's a consequentialist versus a categorical point of view. Right. The categorical says these are my morals, and the consequentialist says this is what I see. The rules need to be changed so that way it's for the health of the game. Right? So here's an interesting rule question for you. Right? This is one of the ones we talk about a lot. Do we say Smash needs to be played in stocks or in time? Right now the rule set is 3 stocks, right?
Yeah.
We came up with that. That's what we decided in the end. But Smash was intended to be played on a timer. So why did we decide that it should be played on stocks?
That is a good question, and I am not sure of the answer. I just think it's more fair.
Why? Why is it more fair? What makes that more fair?
Oh no, you know what? I take. That's weird.
It's a hard question. So these are just things that you talk about on a daily basis in this back room.
Saying that it's fair is actually very, I think, arguable, because that poses the question of, well, why isn't timed fair?
Right, because at least with timed, you get to play the whole time.
Yeah.
And if you have a good player versus a bad player, at least they still get to play for all the match, as opposed to like if I just straight up 3 stock you, Like, I've been to tournaments where, little kids have played, and I've seen little kids cry. Because, the person they played against just destroyed them.
That kind of sucks, though, if you think about it.
It does. But, who lets their 8-year-old join a tournament where that these guys are competing for, to save face, and, for actual money.
Yeah.
So there's that. I really do like the 3-stock 7 minutes that we got going on right now. I'm an advocate for that. I really do think that playing with lives makes the game a little bit more interesting, makes it more interesting.
Yeah, it actually kind of puts you into in thought of advantage and disadvantage, and plus you can actually see what's going on down there.
Yep, and it allows you to see it like a flow of the game. Stocks really do matter, lives matter. In other fighting games, it's all about health bars, right?
Yeah.
We don't really have a health bar in this game. In this game, you can lose a life at 0%. You don't even have to take any damage to lose a life, right? So that's different than most other fighting games.
Yeah, that is very different.
Right, so you have knockback, you can get off the stage, and that's really the whole goal, is to not let them back on, right? So it's different. There are some rules that I personally helped put on the rule set, like coaching for the first time. I held a tournament, and in this tournament, this dude was being coached play by play by this guy who, let's just call him an FGCU community member.
Okay.
And I didn't think it was fair that throughout the entire match, this person was telling him what to do. I'm playing and you're telling me how to play. Down air, go grab him, up throw him. He's gonna air dodge, wait for it, right? Like, play by play. I still beat the guy, don't get me wrong, right? But I'm not playing against one person, now I'm playing against 2 people.
Yeah.
So now what do you think is fair? So I was the first person to introduce the coaching rule into the rule set, and I still think that my coaching rule makes the most sense. In between matches, you should be allowed to coach.
Yeah, in between matches, not during them.
Not during a match, right? And now that the rule set has evolved to where, like in these top 48, we're doing best of 5s, I think once per set, you should be allowed to consult the coach. You should be allowed a 15 to 30 second break to consult somebody. So what if it takes more time, right? Think about football has coaches, baseball coaches. Every major sport, League of Legends and esport has coaches. Every major sport has a coach. Why doesn't Smash allow somebody to have a coach? Even golfing, you have a caddy who coaches you.
I didn't even know that, honestly.
Right? So the coaching should be allowed. And rule sets, honestly, they're very arbitrary in nature. It's just a collective set of rules that the community has generally agreed upon. And if you really, really think about it.
Yeah. So,
real quick, before we get on to the next one, one of the things that changes all the time with rule sets, the stages.
Yeah, that's
which stages should be allowed. Now, we want to have the most competitive stage list possible. Meaning, what are the stages that we can implement that allow us to truly gauge player skill? Okay, let's take out luck as much as possible. So this takes out stages with a lot of hazards. Halberd, for example, has hazards. It has lasers, I don't want to randomly get hit by a laser, or like in Pirate Ship where there are these bombs that get shot. I don't want these bombs to ruin, what just happened. Ruin the gameplay where I randomly get hit by it, or maybe I got thrown into it or something, right? So sure, both players do have to play under the same conditions, but that still doesn't make it fair, or it makes it competitive. I want there to be as little variability as possible. That doesn't introduce player skill. I don't want stages to play that big of a factor. So the stages that we do choose, we say, all right, these stages are overall, there's nothing really huge that sticks out in terms of hazards. They don't cause glitches, right? That's one reason Fountain of Dreams is not allowed, because it's a very glitchy stage.
Really? I had no idea.
It's very glitchy. If you have 8 players on it and you have all this, what you call it, like all these fountains with all these water and oh, that was nice. Red would jump. I don't it'll stop playing the game, and so that's a big factor in the stages. Another factor is the size of the stage. So stages like Rainbow Cruise, there are no hazards, but the stage is constantly moving, and it allows for people to run away the entire time, and that's that's a rule that we debated for a long time in Brawl, which was stalling. Does running away trying to time out your opponent constitute stalling? So in Brawl, you could stall on the edge indefinitely. Meta Knight could do this, and you could if you did it with Meta Knight, it was actually talk about frames, right? Yeah. It was impossible from a frame perspective to get Meta Knight off the edge. Like, if you try to hit Meta Knight, no matter what, he always wins that interaction because there's enough invincibility to beat you every time he grabs the edge. So, like, it was impossible to get him off. So if he had a lead, he just camped you on the edge, and you lost. It was just that simple. And I've seen that happen in tournament.
That must be so frustrating.
Oh, it's very frustrating because you're like, this isn't it's supposed to be a fighting game, right? But if that's how the design works, I mean, you do what your character can do. You know what I'm saying? So we decided that for the consequentialist decided that for the health of the game, we were going to ban stalling, and that's intentionally delaying the game to that doesn't lead to any benefit of a character. So like if I run away, that doesn't constitute stalling because I'm trying to reset neutral. But if I'm camping on the edge and running away on like a stage like Castle Siege or a Rainbow Cruise, that's so big.
I have a question about this rule. So like stalling, right? That would be like me going over here and basically like falling off and then
yeah, but the designers of this game, they hurt us because on this game you can only grab the edge 3 times in a row.
Really?
You have to get back on stage. And you also lose invincibility once you grab it and you drop back down, you grab it again. If you don't touch the stage again, like at the top of the stage, the flat part of the stage, you actually lose invincibility. So if you grab it again, I can hit you with any move that has a low profile. You can't do that in Brawl. You get invincibility back, 100% of it, and you can grab it infinitely times. This game, you have a maximum number of times that you can grab it.
That's wow. They actually really did listen.
Yeah, and in Smash 4, they hurt us again, where you could ledge trump, you run off and grab the edge, and it pushes them off of it. In Brawl, you can't do that. You can't ledge trump somebody.
So you guys would just both hold on to the ledge?
No, you'd fall. Like if Fox was side Bing and trying to grab the edge, if I grab it first and he side B's into it, he side B's and hits the wall and falls straight down to his death. He doesn't grab it. There's no auto grab. There's no trumping in Brawl.
Huh.
So like the designers hurt us. Like this is a part of the game. So they even said, that's not helping the health of this game. I'm a big consequentialist. I think that the rules, you say, oh, the game wasn't designed to be played that way. If it wasn't, then we wouldn't be able to change the rules. Sakurai straight up put these options in there for us to change it to see fit for competitive play. He said, if you want to play competitively, I'm going to put it in there for you guys. And it's in there for us to do.
They did that in Ultimate, too, with the training stage.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I think what we should do is we should change the rules for the health of the game, player safety, and to maximize
Trying to find the right word?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, the rate at which the better player will always win.
Okay.
I don't want there to be such variability in who wins because, like in Smash 4, its biggest issue, it had rage mechanics, so as you got higher, your percentage got redder. You build up rage, and you could kill somebody like 50 to 70% because you get a lucky hit. Just because I get a lucky hit and I just randomly throw out a move doesn't mean I should have won. And in Smash 4, the rule set was 2 stocks. So all I would have to do is I'd throw out one Hail Mary, get it, and I'd take a stock. And what if it's your last stock? What if I just killed you, right? I have 0%, you have 140%. This happened to me in tournament. So one of my last tournament matches, right, that I've played in Smash 4, I was like, I'm done after this game. It was game 3. Mm-hmm. Game 1, I died to a random forward smash. I rolled behind the dude, and as I was rolling, my character had like a glitch in it where my character wasn't fully in the Z-axis, so I got hit by a forward smash, and it didn't hit me forward, it hit me backwards, so like I DI'd away from the hit, like, oh, I got hit, right? In my mind, I'm like, DI away from it. And I DI'd towards the right where my character glitched out and died off the right side of the screen instead of getting hit towards the left, so I shouldn't have died, but it did. I won the next match solidly. It was a solid 2-stock, right? Like, I shouldn't have lost. And then the last match, I just died. I had 0%, he had 140%, it was just take another forward tilt up till I was going to win. He played Bayonetta.
It's just Smash 4.
He goes side B, hits me up, up air, side B, up B, up air kills me off the top at like 50%.
That's
from one hit.
That's just wow.
Because he hit one combo on me that's like an easy combo, and I'm like, I'm done losing to this easy combo. Because like, you're like, oh, just don't get hit by it. You know how incredibly difficult it is not to get hit by one move by Bayonetta that combos.
Yeah.
The whole game is predicated on hitting your opponent. So like that was a major issue with that rule set, was it was 2 stock. And it was so explosive that anybody could win. And you're like, oh, but that's great because anybody could win. No, you don't understand. The better player doesn't always win in this game. You're like, oh, that happens in football. The better team it doesn't always win. But
That's
it takes 60 minutes of playing this game of football, sometimes more, to win that game, right? There's 4 distinct quarters. There aren't 2 stocks, right, where you can randomly hit, done. It's like throwing a Hail Mary pass in football and winning a game. Because you're like, okay,
random throw, but somehow you just got lucky.
Right. It took a whole 59 minutes and 95 seconds, or 55 seconds to get to that one Hail Mary pass, right? So there, you had a whole. It's not like that. And that was a major issue. This game, when you go to 3 stocks, it changes that because you can lose 1 stock randomly, but you still have 2 other stocks. So if you are a better player than your opponent in this game, it really shouldn't matter that much. This random, they toned down the rage mechanic. It's still there, but it's not as big.
Yeah. I don't think it really affects the gameplay too much. Well, I'm not really too sure.
Oh, it affects it, but it helps you with kills because one of Brawl's problems was it wasn't unlikely for like if I was Snake and Brawl, I'd live most of the time to 180 to 220. Like it was so hard to get kills in that game. Oh, who knew that Ike's neutral air beats that?
I didn't know that either.
Now we know. I'm gonna start using that. But they fixed that with the rage mechanic. It allows for us to actually get those kills. Like it's not fair if these characters like Sheik, you know how easy it is for Sheik to put damage on somebody, but it is impossible for her to kill somebody in Brawl. Like it's straight up impossible.
I thought Sheik was good in Brawl.
No, Sheik was good at damage. Sheik was terrible at kills. Like I had no fear playing against Sheik because I'm like, oh, I'll just play a heavy character. She'll never be able to kill me. And it was always true. And they fixed that with the rage mechanic in this game. So like they've actively been watching, you know, like these issues that present themselves. And I'm talking about they, I mean like the developers of this game. And like they address it with certain things. For example, the latest patch just came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
They hate camping, right? They don't like it as much as we do. That's why the game is the way it is right now. It promotes aggressive behavior. But one problem that we're seeing already was that there is this power to holding defense in this game and using projectiles. Like Snake's grenades are very powerful on shield. Like very powerful. If I hit you with it and it blows up, it has enough stun to where I can really do a lot of damage to you. So what they just did was they toned down all the projectiles, their hit stun on shield, making this game less projectile based and more fighting game based. So like Injustice 2, its biggest problem was that the stage was so large that you could easily zone somebody and spend the entire game zoning, and you never had to approach your opponent.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat, the same developers of Injustice, right, the NRS, NetherRealm Studios, they said, oh, hey, we see what's going on. So in Mortal Kombat, they took the stages and they made them smaller by like 40 to 50% or something like that. So it's always up close and personal. There is a stage, don't get me wrong, right? And there is a corner and there's an edge to it and all this stuff. You're dead.
Oh yeah, that was, I just wanted.
But it's smaller, so it doesn't promote camping. Same thing what they're doing here, in
Yeah.
a sense. So it's nice to see them.
Yeah, I have noticed that the stages are smaller in this.
And who wants to see camping in a fighting game where 2 people don't fight each other?
Yeah.
It's like going to a boxing match and seeing the 2 people staying in the opposite sides of the ring the whole time.
It's just
It'd be boring.
Yeah. All right, so I'm pretty sure this would be an easy question for you to answer, but how do you feel about like competitive play in general?
In what sense?
In what sense? Like, what I'm trying to ask you is like, how do you feel about it? Is it competitive play a good thing? Should people?
Oh,
just
absolutely.
Should people?
Dude, competition's great. You learn about yourself.
Yeah.
You learn, like, you actually get to see how good you are at this character, or in this matchup, or in this setting. You know, like, it's you just need it. You need competitive play. It drives the game. Makes you understand the game, what you can and can't do.
Can you tell us about an experience that you had with competitive play?
Oh my God, I have
Like
10 years worth of
yeah,
experience.
like when I'm talking, give us an example of like a funny moment or something like that.
All right, I guess one of my favorite moments of all time. There's this cat named Nick. He goes by HR Nut. He's part of the Nut Crew. The Cashmere, almond, donut, HR Nut. Oh God, I can't remember the rest of them. But you can just imagine the fun names that they came up with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So HR Nut, he was always power ranked in Florida. Always top 10. And I think at his best, he was even like second best in Florida. Known as one of the best snakes in the world. Like top 3 in the world in his prime. He was amazing. He's kind of like my mentor in a way. Like he was just, and he's so good-natured. He's just a good guy. Okay, there's nothing bad I can say about him. Okay, other than he's a dick when it comes to playing the game. He just does like, oh my God! I was playing one time in a tournament, and I had been working on these grenade setups, and I pulled one off on him and killed him, and he goes, "Oh, I like that. I really like. I'm gonna use that." Not 10 seconds later, he uses it against me, kills me, and beats me. And he's like, "Bro, that really works." Like, stop it. Stop it. I can't. That's what I mean by being a dick, right? Like, that's my setup. I've worked on. You just watched me do it. All right, I see how it is, Nate. But I think my favorite moment against him, we were playing in a tournament. And in this game, when you get hit into the stage, you can tech it.
Oh, yeah,
right?
I remember this.
You can tech it. So when you can recover a snake with an up B. So he was recovering, and I ran off, and I yelled, "Hi-ya! Ah!" And I freaked him out, and I acted like I was gonna hit him, but I didn't hit him. I just jumped off the stage and yelled, and he hit the tech button, and it caused him to die.
Yeah, because he air dodged, right?
Right, he air dodged straight down and died, and it was so funny. Like, and I just thought of it in the moment, you know. So it was great. Yes.
Mr. Gabs, I have a question.
Which question?
Can I do cologne?
Sure.
I can?
Mm-hmm.
That was random.
Let's see another funny moment. It's another HR story. Jesus. I was playing against him, and I was like, "I got you, bro. I got you. I know exactly. I've been playing him for so long. You know, I was like, I know exactly what you're gonna do." And he turns to me, and he hits me with something, and he goes, "You can't read what you've never read before." And I was like, "You son of a bitch. You can't believe you just said that." What else? I guess my favorite moments were against my buddy Tony. I remember the first time I really won big. Like, I clutched out. I was playing against this dude named Tommy G. He was a Falco from South Florida. And he was like...
Wow, so many people from Florida are good. Like,
yeah,
why?
South Florida, they were the self-proclaimed elite. Okay, so they proclaimed that Tommy G was the best Falco in Florida. Not true, by any means. But he was the best in South Florida, and South Florida was the best region in Florida, so he got a lot of good practice. Like, he wasn't bad. He was good. But I played against H.R. Nutt, who was the best Falco in Florida. You can't predict him. His play style was pure random. Just pure random. Whatever he could think of in the moment. He didn't have a strategy. He just reacted to whatever he saw. That was what he did. That's what made him so good. He just knew his character that well, and he could just come up with the situation on the fly and react to it appropriately. So, like, he didn't say, "I'm going to dash attack. I'm going to wait for him." Now he's just like, this is what it is. I could do this. Right? And that's what made him so good. But anyways, I was playing against Tommy G, and this was at, was it Next Level LAN? I think it was Next Level LAN or Gigabits at the time. And I was Snake, he was Falco, and in that game, Falco has a chain grab on Snake. And if you grab him at 0, you can 0 to death Snake. No problem.
Really?
With this chain grab. Oh, yeah. So, like, after this match, I developed a strategy where if I'm going to be playing Falco, I would go grenade, C4, and I'd drop it on stage, and I'd blow myself up. I would start off with 45% damage, so that way I could not be chain grabbed. It was safer to take damage than to maybe not get chain grabbed. Okay? Think about that one for a second. That's like intentionally giving up yardage in football so you don't take yardage in the end. Like you don't give up a score. It's wild, right? So I was playing against Tommy G. I won the first game. He won the second game because he chain grabbed me. 2 of my stocks and basically 0 to death me. And the third game, it started off, he got a grab, 0 to death me. So I started off with 2 stocks, 0%. He had all 3 stocks at 0%. So I was a full stock behind. And this is Tommy G we're talking about, game 3. You know, like, I in my mind, I said, I can't lose. I cannot give up. I am not going to give up. And me and my buddy Tony, we had a saying, which was, the only stock that matters is the last one.
Okay.
I say it to you guys all the time.
Yeah, you do.
And it's so true. And if I had not had that in my brain, I would not have won because I would have been tilted, right? My mindset would have been gone. And I did not give up. I wanted to be one of the greats, you know? Don't give up. Like Tiger Woods this last weekend. Didn't give up.
Yeah.
And another saying I have with Snake is, you're never behind. With Snake, you really are never behind, honestly, unless you're like playing King Dedede or Meta Knight or something. Like there's like 2 or 3 characters in that game where you really are behind. But I could make up just about any percentage if I hit the right combination, you know? So, in that, I was very tricky in that game. I had been working on the player psychology. I know, I pay attention to you as you're playing. I know when somebody's watching me and when they're watching their character. If somebody's not paying attention, like you would think, watch the opponent you're playing, like, but this is the same thing as in baseball, or when you're catching something, people say keep your eye on the ball, right? You ever hear that phrase? Keep your eye on the ball? Because people stop looking at the ball and they look at their hand or their mitt, what they're trying to catch with, and then they end up missing the catch. That happens in football all the time. Who was it that had a lot of drops last year as a tight end? Oh, Evan Ingram. He said that he would take his eye off the ball and it led to all these drops. Okay? So it's the same idea. Keep your eye on the opponent. Okay? And I know that with Snake, if I up tilt you and it doesn't kill you, you're looking at where your character is on the screen. So I would plant proximity mines. Snake's down smash with and you couldn't see it. Unless like I fully charge it, you'd see it the more you charge it. But I would place it in different spots. And I would manipulate the screen, the camera on the screen, to stay away from that spot. So I'd run away from it, or I'd duck down, I'd get real low. I would let's say we were getting closer towards the mine, I'd get closer towards the opponent because the camera would zoom in on us instead of zooming out. So like I'm actively thinking these things. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a huge player psychology thing, right? I want to get in this kid's mind. So the first thing I did when I came back was 3 stocks to 2 stocks, right? The first thing I did went grenade, C4, blew myself up. And I was like, that was smart. You know, I adapted. I killed him. I had like, we both were going even. I killed him first, right? And now we're 2 stocks. And what was going through my mind was get as much damage as possible before you die. So I did that, right? I was like, I got a couple neutral airs. I was hitting him, and sure enough, right? I'm like a 140, 150. I'm getting up there in percentage. He's like 80, 90, and I hit him with an up tilt. And I planted proximity mine real quick, right? And I planted on this platform. I was like, you know what? He's gonna start camping me because like he started to do that and this and that. And I'm like, I'm gonna plant it on this platform where he keeps camping me. And so I hit him, planted it, went away from it. Sure enough, he instead of coming towards me, he runs onto the platform, blows himself up, right? And he goes out and doesn't kill him. But as soon as he blew himself up, right then and there, I planted another proximity mine. Ran to the other side of the stage, planted a C4, popped a couple of grenades there, and it forced him to go to the other side of the stage. And he ran into my other mine that I planted to camp me, and it killed him this time. And so now he was tilted. Straight up tilted. Because he had a full stock lead on me, right? And I brought it back. I took away 2 of his stocks before he took 1 of mine. And then I got more damage on top of it after that because he hit him with another proximity mine. Because after he died, I planted another one. So I just kept planting these proximity mines because I realized that he wasn't watching me. Every time I hit him with an explosive, he'd watch his character. So I'd be like, blow him up, proximity. Blow him up, proximity. And I would replant it every time. And I won that match. And from that moment on out, it just changed my whole persona. I just realized you should just always stick to your guns. Like if something bad happens, that's okay. You can get over it.
Yeah.
That's why you never see me worry when I play you guys. What's there to worry about?
Exactly.
I've seen too many comebacks in this game.
Yeah, like I heard a lot of people say, well, not like in person, but like on YouTube, like big players and stuff like that. They say that Smash is a very mentality-based
Yes,
game.
it is a mentality.
And if you break your opponent's mentality, they'll start playing stupidly.
Yes, and it's easy at that point, and you know you've won.
Exactly. Like it happens all the time with
Oh,
players.
at every sport you can tilt somebody, you can break them.
Yeah. So, another funny question. Do you remember the Wombo combo meme?
Dude, I remember when the Wombo combo was made. All right?
Yeah.
We tried doing the Wombo combo all the time. Of course, it's great. It's awesome. The Wombo combo is amazing. What you need to, you know what you need to look at? You need to go watch Dark Shad.
Okay.
He has a video series of him in his box. He was beyond his time. All right, like that's the most underappreciated video of all time.
All right. Like, what was your first reaction to that when you like saw it on?
I thought it was hilarious, but it's nothing I hadn't seen before, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just team mechanics, and somebody just came up with a way to hit a knee. And honestly, it's an average combo.
Yeah, that's true. When I first seen it, like me being a new player and stuff like that, I was just like, wow, he really couldn't do anything. It kind of made me feel like I was kind of laughing at it because like the guy's reactions and whatnot, but I don't really know.
I bet it was unique, you know.
Yeah.
You're like, I didn't know you could do something like that.
Yeah. Because back then I didn't even think like, oh, you can actually combo in this game because I actually started playing Smash 64 before any other Smash Bros.
Okay, so in Brawl, you could grab somebody, pummel him. So like, I'm gonna grab you, and I'm gonna pummel you, right? And if I stand on the opposite side, if we're playing in teams, I can grab you, pummel you, it pops you out, and then my opponent can grab my teammate will grab you, pummel you, pops you out, and you can infinite that way.
Really?
Yeah, and it was allowed because why not? It's part of the game.
Interesting, but yeah, I didn't even know you could do that because before I like seen that video is what really made me start thinking about, okay, how do you actually play this game? Because I started out on 64 and I would just play by myself and school bell. All I would really do is just like smash attack, and I didn't know that you had tilts. I didn't know that you had. Well, I knew that you had special moves and stuff like that, but I'm just saying, like, I didn't understand the game on, like, a fundamental way. And my fundamentals still aren't really that good now, but I'm just saying, I understand, like, the thought process behind playing Smash Bros. Now a lot better.
Tell you what, man, I'm understanding Joker a lot more. I'm feeling natural with him, almost.
Really?
Yeah, like, I really get it. Like, see that spacing right there? I can see it going over your character. Like, I'm getting it.
So, you think Joker is B or C tier?
At the moment, I think he'll be B tier, B or C. Mainly because his moves don't really have that much kill potential. And
Okay.
he doesn't really have a true kill confirm. Honestly, you really need that in this game. And he doesn't really have a kill throw. Like, you're at 125%, right? Now, let's say I get you to like 160. Like,
Yeah.
138 now, right? I've got rage at 158. I got max rage. I got max power. Didn't kill you. All right,
Okay.
that killed you, right?
Yeah, that
but it
killed
took max everything, and it almost didn't kill you.
Yeah.
You really have to have a kill throw or kill confirm in this game to be top tier. It's just fact. If you look at all the top tiers, they have one of those. Kill throw or kill confirm. Kill confirm means like, if I hit you with one thing, it'll guarantee that I hit you with one other thing. For example, Inkling side B, when you get the roller, when you get stuck in a roller in the paint, you will absolutely get hit by another move as long as the Inkling does mess up, right? That's a confirm.
Yes. Oh, I have another question.
Oh, I'm dead.
What are some things that you hate about competitive playing?
The people.
The people?
Yeah. Some people are just dicks. They're just not good people. You know, they say things they shouldn't say. They do things they shouldn't do. The smell.
The
gamer.
smell.
Yeah, Smash Bros. People are the worst at taking showers.
That explains a lot right now. Because I remember.
My buddy's hosting a national tournament, and there's a rule that states you must take a shower to be allowed into the venue.
No way.
Yeah, it's that bad. It's like this girl over here.
I don't like shower. I do whore baths. No, I'm just joking. No, yeah.
We're live.
But I remember.
Thank you, CJ.
I remember we were doing Sanction one day, and you said the best combo is shower and soap. And
Yes.
at first, I didn't understand what you were saying, but now that you tell me that, it makes so much more sense now.
Here's
kinda
actually,
funny.
let's talk about something else. A lot of people don't realize about competitive play is it takes a long time. Like if you go to a big tournament, you are playing for hours. Okay, like I mean hours.
Yeah.
And it's a long time. Like when I traveled to Georgia, I had to travel myself. Right, I drove a car. It took me 8 hours, and I didn't get to sleep at all because we left too late. So I got no sleep. It was the worst sleeping experience of my life. The dude named DRN promised us a place to stay. Didn't come through, so I had to sleep on we found a warehouse that was being worked on, and I had a blanket, so I slept on the ground in a warehouse.
No way.
Yeah, in a national tournament that I drove to, right? Nobody else would offer us housing. Like, if you ever come to Orlando or Tampa and you're like, guys, this happened to me, I'm saying you can come stay with me. You sleep on my floor at the very least, right? Like, I can't tell you how many times I've housed people. Like, I've housed 20 people at one point, because if you had nowhere else to go, like, you're spending money, okay? So, like, part of that was a terrible experience, in general.
Shouldn't they provide hotels or something?
They do, but, now we do. This is back in 2011 and 12,
okay,
right? This
okay.
is
I'm thinking, like, this is...
before things really blew up, right? Like what we see now. So now you plan it properly, right? But back in the day, it was just like, hey, let's go to Smash Boards. It's being hosted in this warehouse, that we rented. Hey, and these people are housing. So then this person literally said he would house like 30 people, and he kicked out every single one of them. There was another night where I went back to Georgia for another tournament. We took Megabus to go to this thing, right? And so this was we stayed there the first night, and this other dude did the same thing to us. That said you could not stay with us. So we walked around for about 15 miles. There was something like that, and we walked in the middle of the night to like a Home Depot. Right, where there were like these sheds, and we hung out at this shed until the next Megabus came, which was like 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. And so we had to walk around the city, which was like a bare bone city. It was like a redneck city, It was like
Yeah.
It wasn't like a big city. Here we could walk and find a place that's 24/7, McDonald's, Taco Bell. It wasn't like that. That was an awful experience. So that was part of it. Another part of competitive play that kind of sucks. Other than just the timing of the event and being drained, it takes upon you. Really it is the players at it, because some of these people just are not nice. They're very selfish people. I ran a tournament last year, and this cat named Absent Page, who is an elitist, he thinks he's an elite, so he should be treated differently, right?
That's... Wow.
Right, it happens all the time. And it just happened in this next tournament. I'm not going to tell you that story because it's a private story, but it happened again, a different way. Elite players get benefits, like they don't have to pay for a tournament if they show up. I'm not fond of that by any means, and that does happen.
I didn't even know that it was like that.
Right, sure.
all.
But this cat named Absent Page, he disappeared. I was running a bracket, top 48 bracket, to get to top 8, right? So it was a top 64 bracket to get to top 32, right? Anyways, I had a micer, a loudspeaker, and I gathered same thing I do every time I run a bracket. Gather everybody, let everybody know the rules. I'm going to call you, I'm going to tell you which station you play on, you got 3 minutes to get there. And if you're not there within 3 minutes, I'm going to give you a warning, you get another 3 minutes. And if you're not there by then, I DQ you. I have to run this bracket, we have places to go, things to do, we have an event to run. And if you need to go somewhere, communicate with me, please. I'm very easy to talk to, and this is almost like this is the speech I actually give them. I'm very easy to talk to, you guys. Just tell me you gotta go to the bathroom. Let me know. I'll skip your match. You're nervous. You just got done with the match, and I'm about to call your next match. You say I need 2 minutes to let my nerves chill. Let me know. I will work with you to help you out. You need to smoke. You haven't smoked in 20 minutes because you're nervous. People have smoking habits.
Yeah.
Let me know. Right? Absent Page played his match. Got left. I didn't see him for 45 minutes. Didn't tell me where he was going. Didn't tell me nothing. His match was called. I waited 25 minutes for him. He's an elite player, right? He gets the elitist mentality. So I literally ran the most beautiful bracket. Okay, even with him not being there, my bracket was still the fastest bracket ran that day. Okay, and I had a whole section of the bracket that didn't get played, right? Because I was waiting for him.
That's crazy.
I got the T.O.s involved. I got the entire place to megaphone his name over the entire PA system. He comes back. Hey, where's my match? Who are you? Oh, you're absent page? Listen here, AB. It's AP, right? Listen here. You're disqualified. I disqualified you 25 minutes ago. And I didn't disqualify you. The lead TO disqualified you. I had everybody searching for you. We've been sending you text messages, been calling you over the PA. Where did you go? Actually, it doesn't matter. You should have let me know. I would, but I've disqualified you. I'm sorry to let you know that. And he said some choice words to me, very aggressive, got very much in my face. People that are like that aren't going to do anything. Right?
Yeah.
And my response to him was, well, I guess you should have been here. Right?
That's true, though.
And so what he does, and he backs off, he grabs his nutsack, flicks me off and says, you can suck it, and walks off. And I'm like, man, at least I disqualified you. You know what I found out too? 2 weeks ago, he sent out death threats to another member in the Smash community.
No way.
Now he's permabanned.
Oh, that's
He
crazy.
can't compete anymore.
That's really tough.
So it makes sense.
That's what
His reactions make sense, right?
Yeah.
So stuff like that happens, and I guess another thing that kind of melts your heart, in these competitive plays is when you get to know somebody and you see so much potential in them, and then they just go through a depressive phase, and they stop playing, or the game just doesn't become fun because they become too competitive, and I try to play the game how I feel, right? Because when I'm gonna play, I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna swag out. How many times did you hear me that, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna swag out. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna get better at swagging out, but I'm gonna have fun, right? And some people just forget, and so it's depressing to see that. Like they get too competitive, and they lose sight of having fun. It's a game. It's a game.
It is a game.
Stop getting mad at people and telling them to F off.
Stop raging.
It's a game.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it for the day?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well,
Wow.
that was fun.
You elaborated very well.
I have a great interviewer, I guess. We podcast all the time.
Yeah.
So I feel at home on the mic.
He
All
said,
right,
you
now
can
I just
suck
gotta,
it.
Yeah, and he flicked me off. He grabbed his nutsack. At least I imagine he did. That's where he held it, and
That's-
sweatpants on.
That's funny.
All right.